Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, my Impact fam? What a night to be doing this. Happy Mother's Day first and for all. My name is Jeff. This is the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast, episode 91. 91 already. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching this live every Sunday, 8 p.m. here at twitch.tv/TNAIW or if you joined us yesterday for the Twitch exclusive pre-show, or you're watching us live right now, or watching us at 10 on YouTube, wherever you consume us, we appreciate it. Max, myself, the whole team. We've been having our highest numbers, highest likes, all that stuff. And once again, we always say the same thing: one friend at a time, one fan at a time. In no particular order, but we appreciate it, guys. It validates what we're doing here, and the Impact community seems to be growing, which is the whole point of this, right? Anyways, so we got a great show. I already mentioned Max. He's not here on this episode either, but you get to see a little bit of a new format, a new look. It is not the Jeff solo show for here and out, don't worry. But we'll go over that. We'll touch on the different things and the new look and why and what's going to happen and where Max is coming in. I'm really excited about that, so make sure we hit up that at the end of the show, as well as the prediction board. First, we're going to get right into YouTube comments. So we have some YouTube comments. You guys know the rules. You write us on YouTube, preferably in the time frame into which I could take a screenshot and put it up here. You come kind and you'll get answered one way or another. I'll try not to be as feisty, but I like being unbiased. I like being transparent. Sorry about that. And I'll read every comment. My only rule, so we have one rule now, which is if you guys write me and I read your comment and you only watch your answer of your comment, and I answer your comment throughout the whole show, no longer going to answer that comment. Just so you know, not you in particular, but just if I answer it once, I'm not going to keep answering the same thing if I answered it already, as much as I would love to. But there's a lot of new stuff going on in Impact Wrestling. A great Under Siege show. I want to see what you guys had to say first, so let's get into those. Let's get into YouTube comments. All right. So YouTube comments, we got 4 of them here, I believe. I took the ones about Under Siege. There are ones that you guys have been writing, and I always say this, feisty or not, agree or disagree. It takes a lot of to put yourself out there, to put your question out there, to put your comments out there for someone to read and possibly shit on. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. It's all in love, and we all have the same end game in sight, I hope. And if we don't, I won't read those either. So let's get started here. Fade to Bland 20, welcome there. Once again, guys, the lifeblood of the show, besides the YouTube comments, is the chat. You are not going to see the chat blow up, I imagine, too much tonight. It is Mother's Day, as said, but if it does, it's an added bonus. But as I was always put in the little clips for the show, or not the clips for the show, that would be Io, who's killing it on Twitter, by the way. As far as the cover art, there we go. I always write that there's a fire chat, maybe not tonight per se, but it really is one of the lifebloods of this show, guys. So I appreciate you. I love you guys who come live every week. Those who don't as well, but added bonus for those who do. Appreciate that, guys. First off, Fade Bland 20, welcome back. I thought this Impact Plus show was what Rebellion should have been. A good show from Impact is a good show. I guess the money aspect, because people paid for Rebellion, but Mia returning, awesome. Yep, Briscoe's winning the tag titles, all good things. The only sort of negative was the Tasha match. Speaking of Io, was the Tasha match. I didn't think it was that bad, actually. I thought it was an improvement, but we'll get to that. Havoc looked far more impressive than Tasha. Well, first of all, in professional wrestling, the heel's always supposed to make the face look better than them. That's even if win, lose, or draw, that's how it's supposed to go. So if Havoc looked better than or impressive more than Tasha, then good on Tasha. She did her job. In regards to her whole title run, we'll get into that. I know you guys have been clamoring for the progression of her really quickly, but with someone with her of her stature, which is, still relatively young in the wrestling game, and especially with live television, being the champion, being that head knockout, it's going to take time to marinate. These are the people you guys want to encourage, not to always break down and say, well, Tasha only had a bad 1/2 in a month and a half, so let's can her. Guys, I see way too much of this Tasha needs to improve quickly thing. Let her marinate. Let it grow. I thought this was a better match than the last one, and it's not like she's had bad matches her entire career. Their whole entire career on Impact, it's been great. That's why we wanted her to be champion. So patience with that. Also, when you guys are the free agency thing, these are the people we want to encourage to stay, right? All right. But anyways, I thought she looked good actually. So I'm kind of surprised by that. And then as far as the great show thing, I already mentioned that. The cynicism, I get what you're saying. As far as this was better than Rebellion, if you put it that way, I would have no problems. The feistiness comes in. I think I'm always honest with you guys. I'm always trying to be 100 here. Talk about my mental health, all that stuff. I think my feistiness when it comes to these things is my least the attribute I hate the most in the world is cynicism. There's no it being a rebellion. Anyways, I could go on and on about this. The only other thing that gets me on my shit list, by the way, is true fans. If you use that term, fuck off. And I mean that with love. But there are no such thing as true fans. If you're a fan, you're a fan. If you pay your money or your time or anything to watch the product, then you're a fan. I can't stand that, guys. Pro wrestling. Anyway, sorry. Darker Sides 22. Great show. Really enjoyed this much better than Rebellion. Hey, I see. No problem with that. I think with Mia being back, her versus talents like Grace and Masha would be awesome. I think for Slammiversary, Jay versus Josh should be the main event. Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. I wouldn't be against that. You know what we always talk about the main event scene. Yes, I'm not going to hit that comment. I don't know if it was you, buddy, or not, and I apologize. But mentioning that, Eddie and EY would have worked in 2014, but not 2022. And that's not my comment. That's someone in the YouTube from prior. Our main event scene, I don't think is in bad condition as some of you may think. Yes, I get the Eddie reference. I get that. But you have Sami, you have Josh, you have Moose. There's going to be people that can be intertwined there. There's going to always be a Jay White. I said this, and I don't know when I said it. But as far as you look at the best eras or what the most popular eras of professional wrestling are, say we go to the Attitude Era, you had Rock, Undertaker, Austin, Foley, somewhere around there, 4 and 5, always interchangeable. HBK, Kane, depending on who it is at that time, right? What is different now? What is different than having 3 very viable championship options, and then 4 and 5 always changing up? I like it, and I think Jay and Josh would be a fucking awesome match. Not only an awesome match, but I inevitably think, pun intended, that Ace will cash in August and cash in the X title, and I think be victorious and become the world champion. But either way, until then, Josh just beating viable opponents with great matches is all this guy does. That's what he needs to do, because a face champion is hard to begin with. So just him beating people of Jay White's caliber, of Ishii's caliber, and so on, I think is the way to go with him. Fighting champion, right? All right, number 2, Silver Silvers. What's up, buddy? I think Impact should have their Impact Plus pay-per-views now in the same weekend as WWE AEW events. I think it ruins any buzz Impact should normally get if WWE AEW didn't have a show that weekend. I understand the cynicism there. At the same time, I would like to make you think of about a different way. If Impact is doing the great job that we think they are doing, if they put up and shut up and put out a product that is, what I think is A+ at the moment, Not to give away my grade, it's actually not A plus, but then we should trust Impact's product to outshine WWE's or AEW's, and I do. WrestleMania Backlash, I could not tell you one card or match on the card. That doesn't mean anything against WWE, Pro Wrestling. Same with AEW. Good for them. Same time, I like to look at it from the other side of the coin, which is let them try to beat what we just did on Saturday night. As far as Impact Plus Special, it was great. See, there you go. I do hope Masha gets to wrestle actual knockouts on the roster. That'd be nice. I agree. I think that's next step. I said on the pre-show, it's kind of hard to push her when her gimmick is "I'm from Russia." Probably not the right time to poke that or entertain anything with that. So like her come back. I thought she would be a cool addition to a VBD or something of that nature. But she's got new gear. She's back. Let's see what she does next. I think that is the next step. Giselle Shaw was very impressive in her match. Right on, man. Same. I got a whole thing on that. I hope I get to. Very impressive this week. Win and loss both times. Briscoe's now Impact Tag Team Champions is awesome. I agree. I'm not an advocate for giving people the belts right away. I think it diminishes the advantage of them wanting to stick around. But, hey, it was buzz and it was a damn good match. Damn good match. So the promos were clearly for Sami, although don't know why Deonna was in it. We do intergender, but though I guess it seemed like it was a faction or something. Yeah, I agree. Maybe AOP or something of that nature, but it did say 5/7/22, which is EGV. I was just maybe thinking it would be Sami and somebody, but I was not disappointed. A lot of production stuff going on there. All right. And last but not least, Metal Lazy 99. Glad Mia Yim is back. Impact needed a top face on the Knockouts roster. Sure. Taya's pretty damn good, but I agree. I thought Shaw looked the best she has been in Impact. I also agree with that. We just said that. I'll get into more of her pairing as well with Lish and the development there. Bayley hopefully wins the X Division title. He clearly is on a different level than everybody else. Briscoe's winning tag team championship was great. I hope it's Briscoe's versus Motor City Machine Gun at Slammiversary. Once again, I just let the guys on YouTube comments book Slammiversary because, yeah, I dig that too. I think Motor City might be more in line with Macklin and maybe his new tag team partner that I think is going to happen at these set of tapings. But we'll get into that. But if that happens, I'm not going to complain. As far as Bayley, look, it goes. Bayley's signed to 2 years, as far as we know. I don't know if that's enough time for you guys to get invested in him or not. But he's here for. He's here for at least that. Do you want to give him the belt right away? I do agree in the sense that, yeah, man, he's on a different level. The problem is the part that's not on a different level yet is his familiarity with the crowds that we go to. His pop is nothing. When he finishes a match or he starts to wrestle, he earns every damn cheer he gets. I believe he will do that in every marketplace he gets to. But I think August, Destination X, if there's some kind of vacant championship tournament, that's the place to put it. Give him some time to marinate once again. I love what I saw with Trey and Ace and how they told that story. It felt very old school. Daniels and AJ, for lack of better terms or a better analogy or metaphor, whatever you guys get me. Yeah, man, I agree with you. And Metal Lazy 99, I know I talked about talking about free agency and your comments from previous. Actually, that's a topic under hot topics, so we'll talk about your stuff as well. Once again, guys, always YouTube comment. I appreciate it. Do you agree? Do you agree with my old man crankiness? Do you agree with them? It doesn't matter. We all have like the same end game, I think. And once again, at the heart of this. But thank you guys. Always right on here. We'll always read them if they follow the rules, right? I'm going to take a little swig of water. I'm going to let you guys hear the wonderful stylings of Datila from Rangers of Wrestling and Go Power Rankings that airs every Monday, the extended version. Really dope show if you haven't checked it out yet. It's 6 to 8 minutes, somewhere in there, every Monday. Not only gives you these power rankings, but it gets you double-sided with Datila and Bert talking about all different kinds of stats and who's going where and what they perceive could happen or trending and all that stuff. It's fun. Anyways, here's Power Rankings. Be right back.
Number 10, Ishii. Number 9, the HBIC, Mia Yim. Number 8, Chris Sabin. Number 7, Reina de Reinas champion Taya Valkyrie. Number 6, the Death Machine Sami Callahan. Number 5, Honor No More. Number 4, World Champion Tasha Steelz. Number 3, new Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes. Number 2, X Division Champion Ace Austin. Number 1, World Champion Josh Alexander.
All right, guys. Hey, what's up, Akeem? Nice to see you, buddy. So do you agree with that? Once again, you could chat at them Mondays right here on the TNAIW channel. You can also join the Power Ranking Committee if you want to make a difference at TNAIW channel or at Burt Macklin 11. Get right in and slip in his DMs with Burt and get in this Power Rankings things. I do want to make a shout out to Trey, Rich, and Deonna, who all put a badass week out there of professional wrestling. And really like what they had to offer. Not enough points to even make the close to the, I don't even think top 15, but once again, great showings. I really love what's going on with Rich. We'll talk about that in a second. And then close, but almost making it, Morrissey, who had an interesting week, and Giselle, who I thought, and I blame you, Lucha. This is your fault, my friend. And he knows it. Giselle should have been in this. At least squealed in there. The comments alone said it. I agree. It's not his fault. He voted for her as well, but it happened. And, I think it's only up for her for here. Wherever she goes from here. I said the Caleb thing. I thought that would make sense, especially with if Alicia's going to attach to them and they're going to do the Diva thing. I think that could be really fun and interesting. But either way, first facing Tenille, then facing Madison. Awesome shit. All right, guys. So let's get right into that, actually. Let's review Under Siege. I do want to actually correct this and see if you agree. I'm going to start with that actually right away. Let's show that. I gave Under Siege an A. I gave Rebellion a B+. I was on the B to B+ level there. I think this was, high A-A for sure. What does it matter? Nothing. But in my opinion, I thought this was from top to bottom one hell of a show. And we'll get to the predictions at the end, see where we went and who won and lost as far as within the team. I know you guys like to see all that stuff. Spoiler alert, not first place by any means. But how did you guys do? Was this as predictable as people thought it was going to be? Was this something that overproduced? I don't know, man. For a 2-week turnaround, this was from Rebellion to this 2 weeks, right? What a show. First of all, let's start with cards subject to change. Raj and Shira, who, Raj I'm already sold on. Ben sold on. Love the guy's work. Shira definitely coming around, man. A long time since the shuffle, my friend. And I love what they're doing there. Him and them taking on Heath and Rhino. You guys know my opinion on Heath and Rhino as individuals. Love them. Think they can still add a lot. And I think the past 2 weeks as well, though, they've been showing, or past few weeks, they've been showing really good tag team wrestling. And that's all I ask. It's not a once again, when I critique or say I don't like them as a team or I don't give a fuck about them as a team, it means at that moment they just don't catch my eye. And I think for the past couple weeks, they've really been putting the work. Heath getting his feet back under him, he looks to be getting in better shape. Maybe the cardio, I don't know. Either way, I think they're both talented and entertaining, and they pick up the win here. Next, again, card subject to change. But once again, tag team division, no matter what happens the next coming months as far as free agency it's nice to have an undercard match that showcases our tag team division. Guys who aren't really in the picture, mind you. Card subject to change again. Laredo Kid versus Speedball Mike Bailey versus Rich Swann. I thought the right person won here, even with Bailey being added. Bailey, as seen and as mentioned in YouTube comments, is phenomenal, right? I think he can lose 17 matches in a row. I don't recommend that, but he could. In the moment he steps in that ring, he'll earn the fans back, whatever it takes. He's that good. As far as Rich, I don't know if they were teasing towards a DMC feud, but either way, we obviously know Willie's gone for at least the short term. Maybe see him down the road. But this was a good win for Rich to showcase what he is, who he is, and what we've been missing, man. Because between the music, the dancing, the insane wrestling skills that this guy puts out there, I think we sometimes forget what's on the roster when we talk about the roster. When we talk about the roster as a whole, we say, oh, there's no one on there. Bro, I'm not saying Rich Swann's time as champion, world champion, was a success in the sense of at that time. But this dude always needs to be in some kind of title picture. Okay. And he showcased it. Charisma out the roof. The promos have been getting there. He's entertaining, and then in between those ropes, I don't really think there's many that could touch him. So good to see him on the win here. Under Siege main card is next. Once again, I think that's a slap in the face to the greatness that we just watched, man. I thought the first tag match was entertaining, and then that three-way X Division match was bonkers. What I was saying, I literally said out loud. I think I wrote it down. I don't even know where the hell I wrote it. I was fanboying too much, but if that's what they're giving us for free, what kind of show are we in store for? That's all I could think about when I watched that match. So going on, we started off with Madison and Giselle, which was nice because that got the bump to the main card here. Once again, Giselle with a great win. I like the Lish pairing because it's Lish trying to fit in with somebody. If it doesn't stick around, then that's fine because it pushes at least another tag team in there until Giselle finds her permanent tag team partner, or they become cohesive. I really, once again, I think Caleb should come back if he's not already around. My theory on that. And he could be the manager of champions, or even, fuck it, he could be with Giselle. They could take on the influence together, right? EY was champion. But great match there. And once again, man, Madison gets lost in the shuffle, I feel like, as far as giving her props for not only being an Impact / TNA person, a foundation piece of that Knockouts division, but just kind of being slept on a lot. We see her in tag teams. We kind of take her for granted as well, I think. I think she's kind of fits that Rich narrative. I don't, maybe in different ways, but same. So it was good to see that match there. Both of them showcasing, I thought, was a great way to start the pay-per-view. What trust, by the way. Starting the pay-per-view with a Knockouts match, that's dope. Steve Maclin versus Sabin. Sabin picking up the win. I thought this was necessary because, once again, I think Maclin, as with Bailey, is someone who can win over fans one way or another, win, lose, or draw. Does it mean he should keep losing? No. But I think you need to set the narrative, and this is where we'll get to the Shelley thing. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Max. The greatest KO tag team champion of all time. EY. All right. But yeah, as far as Steve Maclin goes, I think this is going to help push that narrative. And once again, I'll talk about Shelley at Hot Topics and update on that. The reason I think this all was put into play, and I think the reason Sabin needed to pick up the win here, was to set Maclin on this discourse of saying, okay, yes, I do need somebody else, or I do need backup, or it doesn't hurt to have an extra hand. He is a Wrestling Revolver Tag Team Champion with his buddy Weston Blake. For Max, he's one half of the greatest tag teams of all time. But I think that's where we go. And that's where I think we get Weston Blake and Steve Maclin versus Motor City Machine Guns at Slammiversary. I think that's where this is headed. Once again, I'm going to keep being redundant here as I say great match because Great match. All right. Next up, Deonna versus Taya. You know, thought it was a good match. Good match. Taya retaining here, picking up the victory. Look, these are two foundational pieces for any company. Taya, Deonna, heel, face, no matter what they are. Oh, man. I'm reading the comments. So the comments are lighting up. For those who listen to audio, take a look there. They're always in here, guys, supporting us. All friends of the show, but hey, one fan time with friends. All right. Mia Yim. That's what we're going to get to because, look, Taya and Deonna, great match. They're always going to put on a great match. What do you say? Once again, they are stars. They look like stars. They act like stars. They carry themselves as stars. And then they perform as stars. Good times. But the headline here is Mia Yim coming out. Being a day one Mia Yimmer, Virginia, well, she's more DC, but she wrestled a lot in the Virginia area. She wrestled at one of my friend's promotions, well, that he worked for an SPW back in the day. So I've known of Mia Yim or watched her career pretty much since day one. From all the pieces of ROH to CZW, everywhere in between. Man, so to hear her that she was not sure if her wrestling career was going to continue, to see her signed, once again, doesn't matter how long for me, she is home. And if we do our job of booking her correctly, letting her shine as she can without any help needed, and let her do what she does best, she will stay. This is her home. She worded it. I know the camera didn't catch all of it. But Jade is back. We won't be calling her that, obviously. But it's funny that Taya and back-to-back, Taya and Jade come back. You know, Rosemary's favorite toys are all coming back slowly but surely. But awesome that she come out here, man. Awesome shtick. I love that Impact does this, by the way. Yes, she's a former Knockouts champion as Jade. Yes, she was in the Dollhouse. Yes, whatever, right? But let's just accept the fact that she's the same person. She's going to go by Mia Yim. She's got a new look, a new gimmick, whatever you want to call it. And we're still going to acknowledge her history here. This is her home. She's a former champion. Let's go. So I'm stoked that we get to just move on. They did it with Laurel Van Ness as well, or Chelsea Green. I like that. Let's just move on from who they are, or who they were, and continue the lineage of who they can become. All right, next up, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel. I've already spoke on that, man, to a little bit. I'll speak on it again in this. The greatest compliment I can give it is these are the X Division Championship matches that I grew up with. Once again, day oneer. I've seen the worst of the worst, and I've seen the best of the best. There isn't a piece that I have missed, even though in some cases I would have liked to. But this, not only to hear Tom talk about the X Division, the history, the way he does, which is, love it. Love it, love it, love it. You cannot say enough about that, our commentating team right now, and the work they put in putting over these guys and their reigns. But to see Ace and Trey, you know, I always throw Bay in there as well. You throw Josh in there, who's kind of, you know, the Joe-ish of it. You got our AJ, you got our Daniels, you got our Joe. These are guys that, you know, who's Trey? I don't know. Throw person in here, man. They all represent the metaphor, the analogy, the comparisons are there, but we're getting back to where this X Division Championship is fought after. And not that it hasn't been, but when you put that kind of prestige on it, that Ace is the X Division Champion 3 times, you got 2 established wrestlers, one in Trey, who I thought with the dope pants, by the way. Dope pants. But with the attitude that he's got a little bit going, and a little bit of chip on his shoulder, and being a already established wrestler within Impact, and Commodity. And the Ace, who's already moving on, I think, to the World Championship level, probably by August, I would think. It just, man, it had that old school feel to it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I don't know how else I could put it over. Great match, great story told. I didn't think it made any of them look weak. And of course, the outcome to me was predictable in the sense of good business is keep the belt on Ace as he goes and faces another former X Division champion in Ishimori, Taiji Ishimori, and the Super J Cup. So made sense. Dig it. Even if you lose this first round there, at least it's champion versus champion. And this was a great match. Kudos to those guys. Next up, Honor No More and Bullet Club 5-on-5 war. Man, this was a match that could have easily been a clusterfuck. In some places was a clusterfuck. But with all due respect, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of this match. I enjoyed that Honor No More got the win because the Bullet Club, once again, is one of those groups that could win next year, not until next year, and still be fine. They had a great week in New Japan as well and other places, so not really a deterrent for them or something that hurts their leverage here. I don't know where Honor No More, how long they're going to stick together, but this is part of my, I'll get to later in free agency talk. But this group, let's first of all remember that Kenny King is a former X Division champion in TNA, TNA. Mike Bennett, former Grand Champion, right? Former X Division as well. Maria, former Knockouts champion. Taven is really, who is probably the biggest star of the group, who has not won a belt in Impact. The rest are mainstays of Impact in the last decade, in one fashion or another. PCO is obviously going to be doing his own thing. I think Vincent goes that route as well. But this is a group that kills a lot of birds with one stone. And those are the kind of groups and people and individuals we need to go after. As I say that, the Briscoes pop up, which, once again, you got to look at this. Yes, on the roster page, does it have the Briscoes together? Does it have Honor No More together? Do we know if they're signed long-term? No. But every person in these groups or stables that I just mentioned or tag teams have won singles gold on top of winning group gold. So keep that in mind. We might have not the expansive and expensive of a roster as some other places, but we have quality. We really do. We really do. Not that they don't, pro wrestling, but quantity over quality is some places' mottos. Ours is, I think, quality over quantity. Business or not being the purpose or being the reason, but I digress. Anyways, Honor No More, Bullet Club, both look great. How great is it to have ELP back, man? Look, I'm not one of those people. Well, obviously we do a treehouse show, so who the fuck am I kidding? But if there's one person probably on Impact right now that I would like to have a treehouse sesh with, ELP, get at me, bro, because you are an interesting character, and I think we'd have a damn funny time, man. What a I don't even know the word for that dude, but just entertainment. It's good to see him back. It's good to see Bay being so involved with the Bullet Club. It's good to see, even if they're on their way out, the Good Brothers putting on, performances and giving the rub to those in Impact, as they have done since day one, in my opinion. But Honor No More picked up the victory. We also get them tonight live, which will air this Thursday on a banging episode from Fallout of Under Siege. We get Good Brothers versus the Kingdom. So we'll see where this goes. Of course, my point of view. I want the Good Brothers stay for the long haul. But if this is what they're going to do on the way out, bless them. All right, Honor No More picking up the victory there. Still, by the way, a lot of Juice Robinson references. So even if the Bullet Club loses, Max, I mentioned this on the pre show for you. I'm going to mention it again here. The reason that we were going Honor No More, we thought we really wanted to go Honor No More, both of us, when we were talking over our predictions, was because I think, and he thinks as well, that the Bullet Club will be pretty predominant in New Japan going forward. I mean, they already are, but I mean our American guys going there. So the Bullet Club has to continue in Impact. I think it will continue in Impact. Is that Jay White? Is it the strong guys who's staying over here for a bit? Yes, but I also think it's Juice Robinson. Too many hints, too many interviews from him hinting at Impact again. So look forward to that. You know how I feel about Juice. I think he's nothing but entertainment. And he's another guy who can fill the card, maybe eventually, all the way to the main event. So next up, we got Tasha and Havoc. We talked about that. I thought they both looked good. I thought this was a good showing. I thought the crowd got into it. The biggest thing for this match, and I want to say that again because it happened last at Rebellion as well. Now, if you go back and watch her and Rosemary's match, you have a point to an extent. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of you say. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. Okay. But with this one, obviously an improvement, right? Lost my train of thought again. But my point was that obviously we have a different opponent this time. It's going to change the dynamic there. I think Nixon had mentioned that in the pre-show as well, of just Havoc and her have a different dynamic in the sense of size difference and cohesion. It worked a lot better. It told a different story. I thought it was a good match. There was one point. Point two, the placement in which Tasha's matches, these World Championship matches, have been placed, have been back-to-back shows of being after tag team gauntlet or whatever that was, which to some was a disappointment. And then this month, the tag team 5-on-5 match, which was bonkers and the crowd was probably gassed from. So I think that played a part in it. But this was a good match, I thought. It's the evolution of Tasha. I didn't know she was 35, by the way. It's my age. I thought she was like in her 20s, early 20s if that. But either way, she'll get there as far as prestige and putting prestige on that title reign. I really believe it. And if not, you have to remember, once again, same with Trey. These are the first times. And by the way, Trey's promo was fired about the X Division Championship being tattooed on him and how he's had it, been wanting it since he was 16 years old. That fire is something we need out of him, and maybe we didn't get during his title reign for one reason or another. The same goes with Tasha here. She's one of those people that I think give her some run because she'll get to it, and if she doesn't, that second reign, she'll knock it out of the park. These are people I just don't have any doubt in. So it's weird to me when others do. I just really think we got to be patient with her. But I thought it was a solid outing. I don't want to talk its head off. Let's move on to VBD and the Briscoes. You guys, a lot of you guys predicted the Briscoes. I did not. I thought the Briscoes, I don't like when we give belts to people rather quickly. I think it ruins the chase for it, but it's the Briscoes. It was a pop. It was a damn good match. Damn good match. Blonde Raven over my shoulder. Horrible. Damn good match. Briscoes are tag team champions. There's something really cool, and I'm going to talk about it before we leave today, that Max and I are doing. I talked about it in the pre-show. Once again, that's a Twitch exclusive, so make sure you hit us up on Twitch and follow us now if you're not. And rock the pre-shows with us because there's always some good stuff and it's Twitch exclusive. But what we were talking about was the Briscoes getting the belts too soon, and does that outweigh the fact of the buzz they got by winning them so soon? I don't think it does. When I look back on it, when I look at the buzz today, as I look back at the reaction of the crowd when they won, when I look back at how I felt when they won, it wasn't too soon. Even if they leave in 6 months, it was a moment that we'll be talking about And it was really fitting that it was Under Siege, by the way. Camouflage, I like that. All right. That was a good match. Once again, one of my, I'd say, top 2 or 3 of the night. Next up, we had Moose, who was complaining about his position. And Moose. And we get Sami's return. Sami, the Death Machine, has returned. It's so cool to see someone with such a big stature and impact who's been gone for so long come back. That's one. And then 2 on top of that, to see our power rankings 1 through 10 today and see him on there and Mia Yim on there and the Briscoes as champion. What a crazy world we live in right now. Let's not sleep on that. So that was dope. And then Josh Alexander had a banger with Ishii. Man, we're gonna see them tag at the next the tapings here. So obviously they ended that with respect, and then we move on to what's next for Josh. Obviously makes sense if it's Jay White, since they're tagging against the Bullet Club. So we'll see. Overall, I gave this an A show. I thought it deserved it. I want to know what you guys think. Always write us in the comments. It looks like most of you in the comments were very positive, so that's really dope. But let me know. All right, guys, let's get into number 4. Let's get into Hot Topics. Hot Topics. So this is where, as you can see, the episodes are going to consist of YouTube comments, power rankings, impact on Access TV / whatever the show review is. And then a mush of hot topics, because they all seem to kind of go together. And then where it says predictions, we'll get to the prediction boards before we go. But that's going to be a new little thing with Max and I that works, Max, for both of us and our schedules and our my internet and everything in between. We talk about free agents a lot. We talk about depth chart a lot. That's always topic 4 or 5 with us. So what we're going to do is dedicate 15 to 20 minutes every episode in something called, I think, DAZN, something I play on SportsCenter. And it's going to be a SportsCenter-like atmosphere. Max and myself talking about free agency, who, we should throw the bag at, who shouldn't, where they rank, stars-wise, top 25 free agents in the wrestling world right now. Are free agents and contracts expiring, and so on and so on. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really stoked about it, and that is just the tip of the iceberg of the craziness him and I are coming up with. So don't worry, Max fans. He's still here. He's still going to be around. Just yanking him because he's in the chat right now. All right, well, let's get to Hot Topics. First, Alex Shelley. I'm going to run through that really quickly. Alex Shelley is at the tapings. My opinion is he had a pretty banger of a match the night prior. Elsewhere on the indies. And then on top of that, him and Bailey, I don't think it was necessary for, even if he was a little banged up, for that to give Bailey a direct loss. And Shelley didn't need the direct win per se, seeing Sabin got the win. If we're going to go Motor City Machine Guns versus Macklin and Blake anyways, makes sense to hold him off from beating or losing to Bailey for no reason. And did we really miss it? Would it have been A+ show with it? It's quite possible. But I digress. So there's that. All right. Number 2 I got for us is Morrissey and Deonna and AEW. There was a lot of people ask, why this, why that, whatever. I want to say once, and this is what I was referring to Metal Lazy 99 at the beginning, I believe, is I want to talk about it because there's a lot of context to it. One, I don't live in anyone else's universe, galaxy, whatever you want to call it. I watch Impact Wrestling. I watch how they're booked on Impact Wrestling. I watch the people that are on Impact Wrestling. If you watch all wrestling, that's great. Pro wrestling, deadass. We mean that. If I had more time in life, I'm sure I would watch everything as well. But when it came to AEW, and our people being on that, I want you guys to think for different ways on this. I know the obvious one is, our people went on there and lost. Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna hit on that, but I also want us to take a step back and say, why does it matter how they look on another show? That the canon does not affect ours whatsoever. Besides Tom Hannafan saying, he was on a match on Dynamite. Let me know. Why does it matter? And I don't mean that in a whatever way. Let me know, because to me, what happens outside of this does not affect this to me. If Morrissey loses on the indies, does it bother me if he, does that affect how I view him on Impact on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on Access TV? No, that's me. But I want you guys to look at this from different ways here with the AEW thing. One, I want to business. Think from a business point of view, and I'm going to be pushing that a lot, especially when Max and I do that thing, because business is a big part of this that no one really steps back and steps out of fandom and says, well, why didn't Impact do this? Why didn't? Okay, what is the price of doing business? Okay, we have the ROH Championship. One, you want to do good business. Two, you want to make it where it's worth it, where if she's going to drop this title anyways, make it the main event of your highest rated show, which is Dynamite, Wednesdays on TNT. And we got that. Okay. I watched, look, Hitman 333 for the win. You are, brother, I will get to that because you are reading my mind. If you guys, I'll jump to that actually. If you watched Dynamite, there are two matches, because I do watch Impact once again, but I watch there's matches for reference purposes. I had to. And even if I watch the whole Impact or AEW, it doesn't matter. Pro wrestling. But I watch their matches. And if you tell me that Wardlow or Deonna looked like the bigger star, or excuse me, Wardlow or Mercedes looked like the bigger star, literally watching that, not reading results, watching the match. Was the buzz about What was the buzz the next day, right? Was it Morrissey getting looked at by WWE and AEW because he looked phenomenal? It was. Was it Deonna, looking better in that match? And once again, I respect Wardlow's game. I think he will be legit a name in this business for a very long time. Mercedes, nothing but respect for Mercedes. Always loved Mercedes. But it does not unbiasedly... I'm being unbiased when I say it does not change my mind that I thought they looked better than their counterparts. So that's one of the things I want you to look at. The business aspect that I was getting to is this. If you guys are stuck in the 90s way of thinking that with their Nielsen ratings are that be and end all of it, which it's not. I want you to think about the 18 to 49 demographic, first of all, and think about who has the money in this world. Is it 18 to 49? No, it's not. Okay. But if you want to believe that, and we'll entertain that the Nielsen ratings are all that matters, then the Nielsen ratings are all that matters. And that means that Deonna went looking like a star with 800,000 people watching. It means Morrissey went out there looking like a beast with 800,000 plus people watching. So if demographic ratings and demo ratings and Nielsen ratings are all that matters, and you guys argue, you can't pick and choose. It doesn't matter. Wins and losses are not real. No one's going to say, well, Deonna lost. She looked amazing, but she lost. I'm not going to watch Impact now. If they're going to give it a chance based on her talent, they're going to give it a chance based on her talent, not off of wins and losses. Okay. And then the last thing with them is I want you guys to take a step back and look at it as well. Is the people viewing, and that's what you got to think about, is the people that might say, oh shit, Deonna does look pretty damn cool, man. Oh yeah, Morrissey looks pretty great. I got to check them out on Thursday. Is that worth taking 2 L's, as my power goes? Is it worth taking 2 L's in television that people will not give a shit about, compared to the rub that they got from being on there and the advertisement we got from them being Impact stars? I think it balances out. And I think that's where it's worth it. We're going to rock without it. Fuck it. Yeah, it's not cool. So I'm with you there, Hitman. I agree. I literally have it down. Obviously, I was reading it because I wanted to make that point. But I'm totally with you. Next up is free agency and contracts expiring. I know we talk about this in great detail. I know you guys love talking about this in great detail. But for me, when it comes to free agency and contracts, we talk about PPAs and all that stuff, right? the one point, if you're new to the show or you're just watching or you haven't caught my ongoing opinion about PPAs, my thing is if you watch the television Impact every Thursday and you don't look at what people's contracts are, how much disappointment did you live through of watching Morrissey's run here? And he's been here a year. Oh, he's not going to be here past 2 months. Oh, he's not going to be here past 3 months. Oh, he's not. You missed out on a lot. Once again, my least favorite thing: cynicism, and true fans, right? But so I want you guys to take a look at it and think about a different approach. If you don't know their contracts, what does it matter? I don't know. To me, why people can't get invested. I guess if you're wrapped up in that world of caring if someone's going, but I just don't know the difference of getting behind a Morrissey who's been here a year when you guys didn't know if he'd be here for more than 3 months, or caring about a Bailey who's here for 2 years and you know that he's locked in for at least 2 years, but you don't know if he's going to stay past. So where is that line where we start getting invested in talent despite their contract situation? Because I think you're missing out on a lot. And that sucks. That sucks, guys. There's no reason for it. I want you to look at it from a different perspective here. Sami Dolphins signed. Okay, here we go. This is a football reference. My quarterback. They signed a backup quarterback, right? And he's only signed for 1 year. Do I want him to come in and fail because he's only signed for 1 year? It doesn't matter what position. I don't know why I said backup quarterback. I was being specific to the Dolphins, but insert your team here. If you sign a guy on a 1-year contract, do you root against them? Are you not invested? Would you not buy their jersey if there's an all-star player for your team just because they're on a 1-year contract? That's not how I roll. If I'm in my team, I'm in my team, and I'm going to back them either way. But, to each their own. I just want you guys to take a different one. And I also want you guys to take a different approach and think about this. Thank you, Hitman. Way to my heart. I want you to take a look at a free agency, and this is how Max and I are going to approach it as well. So when we start doing this segment at the end of the show, with the free agency and depth chart and all that, I want you guys to look at it from our perspective, which is these 3 things. 1, when you talk about a free agent or retaining a talent, 1, does the company want to keep them around? Okay. We don't know what happens backstage. We don't know their attitude. We don't know if the company has something idea for them, how the company perceives them. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. 2, you got to think if the wrestler wants to stay. What's important to the wrestler? Do they want to be elsewhere? Did they not grow up loving TNA? Did they always grow up watching WWE? Is that their dream job? Or do they want to be an actor? You don't know. And we never take the wrestler's point of view into consideration when we talk free agency. It's just that Impact should have signed him. Yeah. Okay. But it takes 2 to tango, and it takes 2 signatures on a contract to make it legit. Okay. That's 2. The other thing I want you to think about is the logistics to value. You say keep Willie Mack no matter what. You said keep Jonah no matter what. Now, Jonah, once again, this is his side hustle. His contract is with New Japan. Do I think he'll pop up in AEW? Maybe. Do I see him kind of focusing on Strong and going overseas? Yes, I see that in the short term. And he also said, see it down the road. Jonah is a hit in the sense of I did invest in him. I liked him, but I enjoyed every fucking thing he did in the company. So when he comes back, I will be just as invested. He is a fan for life in me, man, for real. But when I talk logistics to value, let's take Willie Mack, for instance. Do I love Willie Mack? Yes. Could I watch Willie Mack wrestle 24/7? Yes. Can Willie Mack cut a promo? No. It is what it is. Is his character development there? No. Could it be? Sure. I'm sure. I think the world of Willie. I think that's possible. But when you're saying, hey, Willie's on this contract, for instance, and I'm sorry that I'm using Willie specifically. It's nothing against him. You guys know my love for Willie Mack. But if it's, hey, this is what I want in dollar value, and Impact says, well, okay, we perceive you at this dollar value because we've had you for 3 years, and has our business really gone up? Has the merch really gone up? Because you have to take that all into consideration. Okay. And does that mean Willie can't come back? No, Willie can come back, and I hope he does at some point. He's a talented dude. It's just a matter of 88 minutes on television, only so much money, and you're bringing in people like the Briscoes, Mia Yim, and OGK, who are just getting you buzz. Taya, just being there. And as much as I love the Willies or even the Good Brothers, I think that's a different situation because I think they bring a lot of different aspects to the table. No, I'm not their agent, but I think you can all see what else they do or have done for this company. With that being said, I just think that you got to take the value to worth, and I hate to put it in those layman terms, but that's what it is. What do you get out of the contract from them, and what do they get out of the contract from us? And does it match up to what we need and what we can afford? So, and the same thing, I don't want you guys to lose sleep over these people. You guys were complaining about Myers. Myers already said, when the Briscoe said we're tag team champions, said not for long, meaning he's going to go challenge with major players, okay? There's all these people that can pop in and out. And yes, of course, it would be nice to have foundation pieces, but look at our top 15. Those people are locked in. Once again, we have 88 minutes of television. I want you guys to remember that. We keep saying that 88 minutes of television to fill these spots. And we have a lot. And that's another thing I want to point out. Under Siege we had a show without the major players. Okay, all three of them. We had a show without W.Morrissey, without Jordan Grace, without Rosemary, and yet it was an A show. So for people who say we don't have the depth, we don't have the talent skills, I just don't get it. And maybe it's a toy chest kind of thing. You want. But man, if we're just basing Impact Wrestling off of what we see on the television screen, I get it because I was there. I used to care about possession. I used to care about other people wanting to think Impact was, well, I mean, this was really early, but it doesn't matter. We were all there at one point. But at some point, you also have to say, do I like it? And is that all that matters? There. Because there's some people you're not going to entertain. You're just not going to do that. Or you're not going to appease them. All right. So that was Hot Topics. Let's get into number 5 here, which is the last, which is the prediction board. All right. I need to add a sound effect because that was the shits. All right. So if you guys joined us for the pre-show, thank you once again. Add us on Twitch. Follow us there if you're watching live. On top of that, we're at 93. You know Max's rule. We have to have one per episode. We're on episode 91, so you guys are killing it. Thank you for that. But it'll ding every time we go live, and that's every Sunday at 8, just like this. And every Saturday where there's a pre-show, 6:30 to 7:30 to talk about the show, this special event that Impact's putting on for that night. So you see it here. Congratulations to Io, who's in the chat, and Mr. Impact Craig, who you can see every Thursday. Every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST, for Talking Blood and Nonsense. Him and Nixon, who kill it. TNA, who kill it every Thursday. On top of that, TBN chats, which they have the dopest guest. They just had Rev Pro Undisputed Tag Team Champion TK Cooper on TBN chat, so check that out as well. TK Cooper, awesome there. You can also check him out at Pure TKC, if I'm not mistaken. All right. But Io and Craig, first place here with 79% right since we started doing this. In third place, Bert to 74%. Fourth, that's me, Jeff, 66%. Real close from there on. Fifth with Nixon, 63. Sixth for Lucha, 61. And Max and Datila tied for eighth with 58%. Most of us going 7 to 9 yesterday. You could see there. Bert going, the only one going Madison. Giselle Shaw took that. Everyone going Rich. Match changed, so it doesn't really matter technically, but I gave us the point there because same outcome. Sabin over Macklin. That was a call from Nixon and I. Went Sabin there. Everyone went Taya. Everyone went Bullet Club, even though we were trying to change it at the last minute. But hey, man, we all picked it, right? Bailey and Shelley didn't happen. We all went Ace. We all went Tasha. I was the dummy of Violent by Design along with Bert and Nixon, and then we all went Josh. So predictable or not, 7-9, 5-9, whatever or not. Thought it was a great show. It was an A for sure. What did you guys think of it? I really want to hear because I think this is another point where we're turning heads. We're heading into Slammiversary where there's going to be some really dope shit coming up. Yeah, there's going to be really some cool stuff going up. No spoilers. We are spoiler free. If you rock with us since day one or even last week, you guys know that. We don't talk about spoilers in here. We talk about the present state of mind of what's going on in the business and of Impact Wrestling. So, guys, once again, hit us up, subscribe there. We're at 296 on YouTube. Awesome, guys. Our goal at Rebellion was 300. We'll get there eventually. We're getting there. Killing it elsewhere, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Once again, last episode 89 was our highest watched or consumed episode of all time. So thank you guys. One friend at a time, one fan at a time. Check out all of our shows. Like I said, tomorrow, Go Power Rankings, Dino Thunder. I don't know. With Datila and Bert every Monday. It's 6 minutes. Stay for the real cool stats, really cool stuff. Even if you saw the Power Rankings here, it gets in a little more detail. So check that out on Mondays. This Tuesday, episode 9 of LOL TNAIW. Join Lucha, myself, and Johnny Mac. This one's back when authorized. It's all about the PCS. Tuesday, 4:20 Pacific time. Go check that out. Once again, not time sensitive. You can watch it now. You can watch it 10 years from now. It's just as stupid and as irrelevant. And then last but not least, make sure you check out Impact Wrestling. If you didn't see Under Siege, I implore you, go check that out. Get the app. Check it out just for this reason. And then Thursday, the Fallout begins 7 p.m. Eastern BTI. If you're not an avid Impact person, or you are, make sure you at least catch the match on BTI, even though I think it's really cool, the show BTI itself. So check that out. We get Impact on Access TV right after. Good Brothers vs. OGK, Kenny King vs. ELP, Jay and Bay Connection versus Ishii and Alexander, and a gauntlet for the gold, which I imagine will name the #1 contender for Slammiversary. No spoilers, but I'm with you. Who was it? I don't want to get wrong. Was it Darker Sides who said Slammiversary? Jay vs. Josh? That would be cool. All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us. As always, we will see you here every Sunday, 8 p.m. live. Twitch first, 10 p.m. on YouTube. No matter how you consume us, we thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. Agree, disagree. I love what you guys are building here. Dope. All right. One last thing. Let's get the prediction board out of here. All right. And as I kept mentioning, Max, it's because I want to make sure he's on your mind, or if you're wondering where he is, I already mentioned it, but we want to hear if you hear this and you have an opinion on what we can do or what you want to see in that depth chart Impact Sports Center into zone-like thing we're going to do at the end of every show. Let us know. We're going to be rating the free agents. We're going to be rating them in 5 different stars. We're going to be breaking it down. We're going balls to the wall with this. So is there something that you would be interested in or entertained by that keeps you from minute 1 to the end of this show? Let us know. As always, thanks. Hit subscribe, hit follow, all that jazz. Thanks to the TNAIW team. Io, who's in there, always killing it. Look at that, 3,564 on Twitter. Incredible interactions. Follow this dude. He will be bigger than us one day, but while he's with us, check him out there with the great work he's doing. Hit us up on YouTube, where you could see Datila and Bert tomorrow, Nixon and Craig on Thursday, Lucha and Johnny and myself on Tuesday. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Or Russell Simmons for you.